Hello everybody, and yeah, so as you can read from the title, there's two new polls. One is for the next commentary, which I'm gonna start a new commentary series. I think I talked about the reasons why I'm not doing Your Lie in April, because there's a couple of reasons, but just doesn't feel right. But the next commentary that's going to start is going to be Jormungand. So that's going to start like hopefully very soon, and hopefully that will be very reoccurring. Like I'm gonna try to keep doing that at least twice a week, 3 times a week, but no promises. But at least once a week. Mostly because I do actually have things going on right now, so yeah. Get a haircut, huh? Yeah, anyways, so the other first poll is going to be, one of those polls is going to be for the show after Jormungand is over. And now this is something going to be a bit of an interesting moment, because since I'm trying to restart the commentaries, this is where you can actually influence the future poll like massively. Like if you have show recommendations or shows that you would like me to do, you know, just comment them, because they are most likely going to be in yeah, most of them are going to be in the next poll, just flat out, because I'm trying to, you know, remake that whole thing. So I still have the huge list of shows to go through, but you know, start brand new, kinda, yeah. So yeah, comment on the shows that you want to see in the next poll, and they will show up unless I get too many suggestions, in which case they're gonna show up in the poll after that. But yeah, and then there's the other poll, which will be for the Let's Play series after Hollow Knight is done. I do have like other projects going on as well, which I am actually going to work on as much as possible, but honestly I want to keep going on a Let's Play. I just want to keep doing Let's Plays because I want to play, and there's a lot of games that I want to highlight. I do have an idea for that, but mostly there are some games here that I really want to show people, so check on the poll, you can see that, and you can see the games there, but you can also see them here, I think. Yeah, there we go. There's all of the games that are on the poll right now. Yeah, I have tested out most of these games. Some I have played more, some I have played less, but all of these are something that I am very interested in playing, and I'm gonna now. You can check for the information on your own if you wish, but I'm gonna tell you what I know of the games and what I think of the games as well. So yeah, that's gonna be the rest of the video. So if you don't want to hear me just ramble on about the games that are on the poll, just, you know, go vote, and I hope you'll enjoy the outcome. Now, just to reiterate, even though it's written in all of the polls, you can choose as many options as you want. So, you know, just give a vote to everything that you seem interested in, that you want to see, because that gives me more information than singular votes. So, you know. But now, on to the games and what I know about them. So, we're gonna go in alphabetical order. So, Death End Request. It looks like a really interesting. This is one of the games that I have not tested out at all, other than I tested out that it starts. So, it looks like a really interesting JRPG, and it seemed to have maybe some weird horror elements, maybe some interesting gameplay elements that are not usually seen in an action RPG or turn-based RPG. But I did not even start the actual game itself, other than just turning it on and seeing that it actually just starts on my computer. But yeah, it looks really cool. I like the aesthetic. Don't know anything about it. Then Double. This is something that I just picked up recently. So it looks like it looks is like a very interesting side-scrolling action game with a very heavy twist on mental health. So, an interesting action game, but mostly an adventure and hopefully an interesting experience than anything else. So yeah, very minimalistic if nothing else, but it looks really, really interesting. This again, I said I had tested games, but this is again one of the games that I have not tested. And then we have Downfall, which is from the makers of The Cat Lady, which is one of the reasons why I picked it, because I think that since I have all of their games purchased, I think Harvester games need more attention. They have a unique art style and a unique way of telling stories, and Downfall seems to be, well, not an exception to this. It looks to be really dark and grim and very psychological horror. So that looks, it looks really cool. I really like what it looks like. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it looks really cool. Psychological horror, side-scroller. Yeah, what's not to love? Dust and Elysian Tale. This is just... I've talked about this game on some occasions, but I have enjoyed the game a lot, as much as I have played it. I have played it a fair bit, I would say. Let's check. I think I played it like, no, 2 hours. Okay, that's not a lot, but I have played it enough to know that I'm loving the combat, and I'm loving the art style, I'm loving the exploration, crafting, everything. It's just a nice little Metroidvania. And yeah, it would be a little bit funny to continue with a Metroidvania right after Hollow Knight, but you know, it's fine, I would say. Then we have Franbo, which, well, this is once again something that I have talked about, but Franbo is a very peculiar horror game. It has a very unique art style to it, and it focuses heavily on mental health and medication and abuse of power and those aspects, and it has some really interesting exploration elements to it. Also, I have contacted the developers, and they are just lovely. They are fantastic. So I really think it's just one of the most interesting horror experiences. Then we have Gris. I can't remember how to pronounce the name, but it's like Gris. Whatever. Gris. That is one hell of an art style. It's a... Oh, apologies. Maybe you heard that. I don't know. Got a message. Anyway. Gris is... It's a beautiful experience. It is a very artistic, side-scrolling adventure experience. It is a beautiful freaking game. It looks fantastic. So, I tested it out like the first level, maybe. So it's hard to say because it's not non-linear, but you know, it doesn't have this. I mean, it does, but yeah, I tested it out for a bit. Anyways, sorry, I'm rambling. But yeah, it looks fantastic. Then we have Heaven's Vault, which, oh boy, Heaven's Vault is just a fantastic game. It's just, I didn't test it out a lot, but it's basically archaeology. It's where it's a game that has you constructing a timeline of events past from ruins and runes and documents that you find, and it has an intricate deciphering system for just not hieroglyphics, but for a new language, that for a lost language that you have never seen or heard, and that's just a made-up language. But it also has very cool elements of you know, language structure and how language is constructed. So it's really cool. I really like Heaven's World. So yeah. I have tested out. It has some nice voice acting, pretty cool art style to it. It's a bit of it looks a bit interesting, and it's a bit wonky, but it's the main mechanics behind the game are just so good. But yeah, I have played only for under 2 hours. Then we have Lisa the Painful. Oh boy. I played this game on stream, so you can find... I think I uploaded that to the main channel as well, but yeah, it's a painful journey, and it's just fantastic. Side-scroller, but side-scrolling on other occasions, but very much just a turn-based RPG, but I've heard so many good things about it. I still haven't looked up any spoilers, so it looks to be an interesting experience. Then we have My Lovely Daughter. I'm gonna take off the Steam page because I don't want any spoilers of that. I got gifted it. My friend gifted it to me not that long a time ago, but I was gifted it. And it is a really... I don't know. I haven't... honestly, I have no idea. But because he said he recommended it, I have faith in him. It is probably going to be a really great experience. I haven't even looked at the Steam page. At least not in any detail. So, yeah. No idea what it is like. So, maybe you want to look at what it is. I don't know. I'm not gonna check out. Anyway. And then on to the next game, which is Okami. Oh man, I do remember when I first played Okami on PlayStation 2, but fortunately it's also on Steam Store, so I can just spend more money on it. Yeah, it's just, if you haven't heard of Okami, you should look up this is one of the games that you really should look up, because it's a fantastic, of course, action game, but it has a very beautiful art style to it. It's just a fantastic cel-shaded world, based heavily on, of course, Japanese mythology, and just a very quirky story, and really unique mechanics, and it's just an all-around beautiful experience. Next up we have Pathologic 2. Oh boy, what do I say about Pathologic? It is a psychological horror action adventure story based. I'm pretty sure it's always in first person, but the basic idea is that there's a disease going rampant in a town, vaguely based in... Well, not vaguely, it's very clearly like Russian. And it's a very fun experience being a doctor in that town. And your job is to contain the outbreak. But it's also like, I've heard so many good things about it. It's like a meta-contextual exploration on the human nature and what makes us human and all that, all that good stuff for psychological horror. It has a very disturbing combat, and it's just like really cool premise, and everything about it seems absolutely fantastic. I really have... it's one of the games that I would... It's one of the games that I would recommend people buying just so that the studio gets more money. But anyways, that's not important. This is not the time to sell out. Alright. Then we have Rain World. Talking about funny going to Metroidvanias, this looks like a very much just like a platforming Metroidvania based heavily on Hollow Knight, but obviously in a very unique world. You're a snail cat. It's really weird premise. I have no idea what the game's about, other than it looks like a Metroidvania platforming game. Might not have those tags. Apparently it doesn't have Metroidvania tags, so nah, I don't know. But it looks like it is. I am not sure. I haven't tested it, so, you know. Okay, let's go on to the next game, because I don't know much about Brainworld, but it's one of the good options there, so. Return of Obra Dinn. Oh boy. There's a reason why this game was heavily talked about. I tested it out, and upon playing it for... What? I played it for almost 50 minutes. Upon getting through the not even tutorial, because there's basically no tutorial, but you know, upon getting testing out the mechanics of the game, I came to the conclusion that Return of Obra Dinn is certainly a game that I want to at least review, but possibly let's play, because oh, it's such a fantastic. So basically, you're going back in time to resolve what happened on Obra Dinn. But you're not going back into like viewing events like in motion. You're viewing them in still images of people's deaths, and you have to piece together the puzzle of who died in what circumstances and who killed who and what exactly went down in Obra Dinn. It's done in really cool snapshots that you have to decipher the puzzle from. It looks amazing. It has a very, very cool art style. Again, I know, I'm talking always about the art style. Then we have Sunless Skies. Oh boy! I loved Sunless Seas. I loved Fallen London. These people are just... Fail-better games are just fantastic at writing stories. I have not tested out Sunless Skies yet, but from what I have heard, it is basically very similar to the Sunless Sea, so top perspective, perspective steampunk exploration decision, and very heavily story based. So yeah, Sunless Sea had one of the best, if not. Yeah, it's up there. It's one of the 3 best stories in games that I have. Well, I don't need to put the qualifier in games, but it's one of the best stories I have ever ever read. So definitely in the top. Well, if I consider every game, then everything, then maybe top 5, because you know, Wheel of Time and Lord of the Rings and all that sort of fun stuff. And yeah. But definitely one of the best stories ever. Sunless Sea, that is. Sunless Skies probably follows among the same lines. Okay, there's only 6 more, but yeah, let's get through them. So, Tales of Zestiria. Now, I have heard, like, there's a reason why the Tales of series is widely renowned. I haven't tested them out. I have Tales of Zestiria and Tales of Berseria, I think is the name for the second game. Or not the second game, obviously, it's a long-running series, but it is looking like a cool JRPG. Don't know much about it. I heard it's cool. I heard it's good. Don't know anything about it. But yeah. And then we have Tyranny. One of the most unique CRPGs I have played ever. I tested it out for quite a while, but I figured, 12 hours, but it is certainly a game worth let's playing. Well, the basic idea is that you're playing a villain, and you don't feel heroic for it, and you're doing the necessary evil. Because, going into the story, if I remember correctly, you are serving, or you are you are subservient to a basically Satan, and the reason why you're crushing all the opposition, even though you despise your lord is because if you quickly quench the opposition, you can really save as many lives as possible. And that's the basic idea for the game, and that's just the start. Then it goes on to have so many good choices, and it has so many far-reaching impact, and it's just a fantastic story all around. It's great. Tyranny is fantastic. No, not like that. The game is fantastic. Okay. Then we have Unforgiving, a Northern Hymn. First-person horror game heavily inspired by Swedish folklore and the Nordic mythology. I do have a penchant for horror games, and yeah, this is one of them. It looks really, really beautiful, and it has a really cool, unique folklore to it. It takes on Swedish folklore. That's not often used, and that is basically that's the reason why I want to have. I'm exploring unique folklores currently in my free time, and this is just a fantastic avenue for it. And now I do have their next game as well, Upsulov, I think. I can't remember the name. I really can't remember the name right now. The next game is Upsulov End of Gods. So, you know, if Unforgiving ends up winning, I'm gonna do both of them. But yeah, it's a really cool first person horror game. I haven't tested it out either, but looks really cool. Then we have What Remains of Edith Finch. You know, an adventure game, basically. Walking simulator? Yeah! But it has I have heard so many good things about the story, that it has one of the most deepest and horrifyingly tragic stories ever. I don't know much about it. I don't exactly know who Edith Finch even is, but I know that they are probably a character in the game, very likely just one person. But there's I know that there's a lot of interesting interactive elements, interactive sequences to this walking simulator, and you know, if it has that interactive experiences to it, it's not a walking simulator, it's just a freaking great game gonna be. Yeah, okay. But once again, haven't tested it out. Then we move forward to the two games that I have actually tested out, and these are Zanki Zero, and then I'll talk Zero Escape after this. But yeah, Zanki Zero. From the creators of Danganronpa comes a dungeon crawling, real-time, grid-based action game. That's not a good selling point for it. From the creators of Danganronpa comes a psychological horror dungeon crawler. I tested out the the prologue, and it is a really interesting dungeon crawler. Yeah. I can't get away from that title, but yeah. The interesting thing is with the story, because it's not really a spoiler per se, because it's revealed in the prologue, but the characters are basically immortal. But that is also a gameplay mechanic, because they can die, and they will die, often, painfully, and in gory ways. But this also affects how they develop as characters. And they are reborn as children, and they grow up to be elders, and they die from old age, and all that fun stuff. I tested it out a bit. It has pretty solid grid-based fighting mechanics. Definitely not bad. What looked really cool as well is that it has survival mechanics and base crafting and all that kind of interesting stuff. So yeah, it is really unique and it's a huge departure from their previous games. But yeah, well, not maybe a huge. They already had the grid-based movement down from Danganronpa, but you know, the basic gameplay mechanic is very different. So yeah, it is really cool. Then we have the Zero Escape series. Now I have all 3 of them, so these would probably be all of them. But yeah, they are just visual novels, puzzle games, and mystery games. I know that they have multiple endings, and that's about it. I tested them out, so they are pretty cool, to be honest. I really liked it. 999 Zero Escape. So yeah, it is really nice. And oh wow, it's also developed by Spike Chunsoft. Huh, cool. Anyways, yeah, no more games. There's not much to say about it. I tested them out. I think you can find that on this channel, the main channel as well. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's all of the games. So that was a long list. So that was a lot to talk about. But oh wow, this is a long video. But now I'm gonna let you all guys, all of you in on a little bit of a secret. I have a huge library of games, so you can check that out. And if you want to see something done later on, put on the next Let's Play poll. Or, you know, if you just want me to talk about the game, you know, say so. Comment. I read all of the comments. I've been always reading them. That ain't always a good idea, but, you know, that's what I've been doing. So, yeah. For the next poll, if you have any games that you would like to see on that poll, just say so in the comments. My Steam profile is public, so you can go check that out, and put a link in the description. So, this has been a long ass video. Holy crap, almost half an hour. Yeah. So, for now, I thank you all for your patience. I'm ready to get back to making videos as frequently as I can. Honestly, with the current thing I have going on, that's taking a lot of my energy. Not necessarily time, but energy. So, and I'm still trying to study and all that stuff. So, you know. But I'm ready to get back into making videos. So, thank you all for your continued support. I'll hope to see you all in the future. Have a great day and stay awesome. Gunmu out. Thank you all very much.